Howdy y'all. Forgive the super chill style of video, I just kinda wanted to try something new. I've actually written 2 full scripts for videos today, and this is the same day this should be going live. This will probably be going up at like 5 or 6 p.m., maybe later, depending on when I get it done. As I was writing the scripts, I kept coming to the same point, and it's a point that I couldn't get across in a good, believable manner via an orchestrated pre-written script, so I figured I'd ramble here for you guys. Don't worry, I still promise it should be entertaining, it should be fun, I'll still edit in wacky zooms, whoa, my head just inflated, wow, isn't that funny? But I wanted to talk about a complaint with Pathfinder 2e. A complaint that is not universal, but it is common enough that a lot of people do have issues with it. This main issue is with Pathfinder 2e's proficiency system. A lot of people believe that adding your level to your proficiency is redundant and makes for overcomplicated math. Now, I'll be talking about this more in a future video, because there is a variant rule that sort of fixes this, but that's not what today's video is a topic for. I'm not going to talk about my opinion on the subject, you'll have to watch the other video for that. But today, it led me to think about Pathfinder 2e a lot deeper. And especially as I read the core rulebook and game mastery guide and stuff a lot more, the more I've read it, the more I've come to believe this opinion of mine about the system. It's not even an opinion. I'm going to state right here and now that what I'm about to say about this system is fact. In Pathfinder 2e, you do not make believable characters. Alright, pitchforks down, put out your fire. Let me talk. Pathfinder 2e is designed in such a way that your characters are astronomically more powerful than everybody else in the world. I'm gonna put a quote on screen right over here from the Game Mastery Guide from the variant rule about removing proficiency. And I don't remember it exactly, but it's something along the lines of the proficiency system in the core rulebook is designed in such a way that every time your character levels up, they grow astronomically more powerful. I believe their words are creating heroes from humble origins up to earth-shattering strengths. And this is really easy to see. I mean, not just spellcasters, but even physical fighters can destroy things when they get to higher levels, especially that one class that starts with an F. But I want to reel it back to my original point. You do not make believable characters in Pathfinder 2e. Now, this may sound like a negative thing, but it's not. Think about so many of our favorite books, our favorite movies, everything of that sort. The main character is never believable. I shouldn't say never, there are obviously things out there with believable main characters, but come on. Spoiler alert, you're gonna tell me that Voldemort just couldn't kill Harry Potter? No, Harry Potter cheated. He had plot armor, and he was not a regular character. He was not a believable character. Look at any superhero movie. Look at any given anime. The main characters always have incredible power, and that's what drives the story forward. It's what always keeps upping the ante because the heroes need to keep getting stronger. And that is the word for Pathfinder 2e. Heroes. If you're looking for a game where you can make a nice, believable character with tons of flaws, maybe some serious flaws and stuff they're not good at, D&D 5e is a great system for that. They have built-in things for that, especially if you're rolling for stats like most people do in D&D. I guess some people use point buy, but we don't talk to those people. They're believable characters. You know, you might end up with an 8 or even lower sometimes in certain stats, maybe multiple stats. Maybe your highest stat is a 14 in D&D. That's really fun to play, but it doesn't really happen in Pathfinder 2e. And this is because the system is designed around it. Everything you fight in Pathfinder 2e, all of the enemies, they are just as powerful as you, and that's what makes it fun. It's like any given anime or superhero movie, the current bad guy is just as strong or just as smart or just better than the superhero in some way. It leads to this really cool dynamic of storytelling. Granted, in movies, you know the hero's gonna win, but in role-playing games in Pathfinder 2e, you don't. Your whole party could be wiped out by these things because they're all so powerful. So what's my point making this video and rambling like this? Well, it does bring me back to the proficiency thing. The reason the numbers get so high, the reason you get another bonus every time you level up, is to reflect this growth in strength. A huge complaint due to this system is that, oh, if an enemy is 2 levels lower than the party, they're not even going to put up a fight, because the party's armor class goes up every level. 2 levels of difference means that this enemy probably can't even hurt the players. And that's honestly true in a lot of cases. But imagine, if you will, some of these other stories. Imagine if Spider-Man, when tracking down Sandman, just gets caught by a group of gangsters and they just beat the crap out of him and he dies. That's not a satisfying conclusion. At least if Spider-Man dies to Sandman, it's still a valiant death. You know, he died to someone of equal or greater strength to him, not some random low-level goons. Again, there's nothing wrong with this kind of gameplay style. You know, if you're level 4 in D&D 5e, a level 2 enemy could still deal some damage, and that's totally fine. I am not harping on any style of gameplay. I'm just trying to point out that Pathfinder 2e is a different kind of game. Now, this isn't to say you can't play that kind of game in the Pathfinder system. You absolutely can. Actually, there are rules in the core rulebook for rolling for stats rather than using the boost flaw system. The problem doing that is you'll need to be very careful planning your encounters, because all of the enemies are planned around fighting heroes. I keep throwing the word around. What do I mean by heroes? Well, by hero, I mean every single character in Pathfinder 2e can have a guaranteed 18 in their main stat, no matter what. And the game is designed around that. If you are a rogue with a 14 dexterity, well, that's not going to let you hit very accurately with your finesse weapons. And thus, your encounters will be difficult, you know? Not necessarily impossible, but in some cases, you just may not be able to hit the enemy. Especially if it's a higher level than you. So what's the point of making this video? I don't know. My final point is, and sort of what I've been building up to this whole time, is something I've believed since I started playing Pathfinder 2e. This entire, however long this video is, probably about 7 or 8 minutes, it all comes down to one sentence that I have firmly believed for months. In Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, you make characters. In Pathfinder 2nd edition, you make heroes. And some people may prefer to play flawed characters. I do too from time to time. I love it. It's a lot of fun. But Pathfinder 2e is a great system to play those big, over-the-top characters who always almost die, but always manage to squeak out in the end. I guess if I were to compare them, Game of Thrones would be Dungeons & Dragons, while Lord of the Rings would be Pathfinder. Lord of the Rings, you have those crazy, almost immortal heroes of Legolas and Gandalf and all of them who always seem to be in great danger, but always squeak out just in time. Whereas Game of Thrones, you know. I've never actually seen Game of Thrones, so this might not make a lot of sense. I'll leave it in anyway, that way I can be embarrassed in the comments. Now, some of this obviously doesn't stand up. You know, death is still possible in Pathfinder 2e. In fact, it's more than possible. It's very likely in some cases. But that's because every fight in Pathfinder 2e, to me, feels like a boss fight. If you're fighting an equal-leveled enemy, they are a threat. They can do massive damage due to how common criticals are in Pathfinder, versus D&D, where it's only nat 1s and nat 20s where anything critical happens. So I guess Pathfinder 2e is just a much more exaggerated world than D&D 5e. And let me end this video by saying this is all opinionated. Yes, I do believe that Pathfinder 2e makes heroes. That is a fact. But that's only a fact with the rules as written. And guess what? You can change any rules you want. If you want to play without level to proficiency, go for it. Make those lower level enemies more threatening, make those higher level enemies a little bit less threatening, and make it play a bit more leveled down. If you really want to go above and beyond and make these superhero characters, hell, give them the free archetype variant. Make them good at everything. By level 10, you can have a fighter who's also a sorcerer who's also a freaking bard. At the end of the day, play what you want, you know? It's a ton of fun. D&D 5e is a great system. Pathfinder 2e is a great system. Hell, D&D 3.5 is a great system. there's so many great systems out there. Sure, I mostly just cover Pathfinder 2e because that's sort of what I've been super into lately, and it's what y'all love seeing. But there's so much good out there, and every system can coexist because they all scratch a different niche. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go edit this and then upload it and pray the internet doesn't cancel me. Have a good one, guys.